guys, welcome back to the check-in. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. I hope you're all healthy. I hope your families are doing well. Your country's doing well, your city's doing well, your village, wherever you are that you live. I hope things are going well. And if they're not, I hope that they will in the future. In this short video, I'm just going to talk briefly about appreciation. I've been in Thailand on and off since 2015. I came over here partly because of losing my job back home, but also because I wanted to do something completely different with my life at that point. And there was an opportunity that came up and I took it. Since that time, my feelings for this country have shifted in many different directions, and where I am today is very different now compared to where I was and how I felt back in 2015 when I first came. You could say that my relationship with life in general is very much a love and hate type of relationship. One minute I love living and having the opportunity to exist and to do things and to have experiences and whatever, and then in the next I hate it and I want to get out of it and I don't want to be a part of it anymore, whether that be for suicide or just trying to seek complete solitude and isolation, which isn't something new. The thing is some of the things that I do now and I experience from time to time, or even repetitively, aren't things that just popped up during adulthood. These are things that have been there even since being a young child. So certainly from the ages of about 7 or 8 years old. I love Thailand because of the culture, the people, generally speaking, and the weather, really, and the food. But mainly it's the culture and the people, the personalities, the mannerisms of Thai people. But there's a lot of things I dislike about Thailand, and I've come to dislike about Thailand over the last couple of years, especially where politics are concerned and immigration as a result of political instability and change. It's very easy to lose your mind. Over here. And I have certainly lost my mind a couple of times. Absolutely 100%. You see, it's very difficult to break out of the gluey or concrete like type habits that we have because of our upbringing and history, culture, interpretation of other countries, interpretation of ourselves, our own country, relationships between those countries. And after a while, things start to get to you a little bit. The separation from your own language, the separation from your own culture, and just the basic things of just people understanding your personality, your body language, the things that you do, how you say things, and why you say things. The things that make us human, I guess you could say. After a while, that kind of you start to get very disillusioned and very lost. And that's why I think it's important to leave the country. It's different to come somewhere for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then go back to your own country or head to somewhere else. But when you're living here, which is technically what I have done over the last couple of years, give or take, the experience is very different, because like everything, the more that you do things, the less clarity you have over it, the less you appreciate it, the less you like it. And it's not necessarily because you don't appreciate it anymore, you don't actually like it. It's because you've just become so accustomed to it and so used to it that maybe for a while or even forever, you don't know anything different. And when you put yourself in a position where you are not really seeking out any change or any new experiences, it has negative impact on us. And given that I get bored very quickly anyway with most things, it's been a real struggle to. This all sounds ridiculous, given that I'm talking about someone that's he's technically still within his youth, I guess, and someone that's had the absolute privilege and unbelievable opportunities that I've had in this country, and I respect the people that gave me those opportunities. And I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to experience those things. And it's nothing to do with them. It's just that it's like I said. It's that loneliness, the separation of being away from something that you know, or at least you think you know so well, and being in a position where you kind of have to mold yourself into something very different than perhaps in what you actually are, or into something that perhaps isn't really you, but you're just doing it because that is the best way to live in that country. I think that's a very, very serious thing, and there's an argument that can be had for tolerance and understanding of the different cultures and customs and ways of life, ways of thinking. But ultimately we are who we are, and I think that's the bottom line here is we just are who we are, and I think after a certain point that's true. For most people, I would say that is true. Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate truth, but it appears to me to be the truth that people don't really change beyond a certain point, beyond a certain stage, and that's regardless of life events, big ones. It's a shame, but that's what people are there. Creatures of habit, creatures of comfort, creatures of taking the easiest way, the easiest options. I say all this and I still love being here. I still love this country. Food, fruit, the festivals, the generosity of many Thai people, the welcoming nature of them, the level of hospitality, the level of tolerance from Thai people. I think that excuse me, I think that Thai people deserve a lot more respect. You've got to remember that a lot of the people that come into Thailand, a fair number of those people are people that aren't particularly in favour of immigration to a large extent. Yet, it's ironic that people, and I'm included in that as well, would want to then come to Thailand as an immigrant, technically, a tourist or eventually immigrant, whatever, a foreigner, and stay here. And you could say, well, it's a very different situation, and it is in many ways. But the basic principle of it is the same: is that foreigners are coming into Thailand, and to some extent, I don't think not deliberately, but unfortunately, in some ways, are starting to change the culture, not necessarily to the disadvantage of other foreigners, but certainly to the disadvantage of sort of hard line, very traditional. Culture, people that very much cling on to the past as if it was the best of everything. Thailand is great, but it needs to modernise. And it has modernised, but it's got a long way to go. Having just come back from Laos, Thailand is a dream, is a world away. It might as well be a completely different part of the world, really. The roads, the infrastructure, the transport. It's very different. And it's only, and given that the last 5 days or whatever it's been has been absolute fucking hell. Literal hell. I'll get into that in another video. Maybe that's just because of all that bullshit I've just had to go through, but coming back across the border and getting on the bus and just coming back, and it's just something refreshing, something about this country that's, it's like a magnet. It's very, very difficult to walk away from for any long extended period of time. Once you've kind of got the bug, as it were, it's a very seductive culture, and in some ways quite literal, and in other ways it's because of that mixture of traditional and modern that's appealing for me. There's a lot of things I don't like about Thailand as well, but I've already mentioned those before, most of them. There's a lot of things I do like, and I think the things I do like are important things. But we have to remember Thailand, and all the other countries that are nearby are all very much in a state of development, although Thailand's way ahead in many regards. Although if you compare Thailand to Malaysia or Japan, maybe South Korea, parts of China, even Indonesia to some extent perhaps, it's kind of still very much underdeveloped. Well, I mean, if Bangkok is like just any other major city on the planet, more or less. Of course, it has its own unique individuality and personality, but it's still very much a sprawling mass of, high rises, businesses, apartments, hotels, condos, whatever. Overly priced, congested, but it still very much has an appeal to it. But outside of Bangkok, it's a very different country, and the people are very different. And I'd say that's no more is that true than in Isan, in the northeast of the country. Well, Isan is actually an area which it covers. I think it's like 15 province areas or something like that, different areas. I don't know, but it's quite a big area of the country. But it's important to have change. It's important to, whether it's off your own back or whether it's just a series of coincidences that happen, whether it's partly due to your own fault or other people, or a mixture of all sorts of things. Those things do help, and I think it's important to try to get some perspective sometimes. It's very easy to just slag everything off and say this is shit, and it might be shit, but sometimes the best way to get through life is to remember or put yourself into situations where things are actually shitter, or maybe just remember things that have been shitter in your life and compare them to what's going on in your life now. And I'm not saying there isn't areas for improvement in every aspect of life, because there is, but I'm not just saying, just shut up and tolerate it. I'm not saying that. But I think it's important to try not to, especially as a foreigner, is to try not to be too critical, especially of a culture that you don't really belong to, you don't really fully understand. It is about respect and trying to understand the significance of things within the culture and why those things are important to the locals. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have a critical side to you. I think it's important to do that, but if things aren't going well, I would say I always recommend people to go outside of the situation they're in whatever way it means that needs to happen or will happen. Do that, or allow yourself to be put into a position like, because it will give you some much needed clarity over your current situation, and it actually might help you to stay in it if it's something that's very important. And we can make very, very disastrous decisions when we base everything on emotion, and that's why I don't think that emotion's always useful. It's certainly not. It's very, very rarely actually logical. So yeah, just think carefully about where you are right now and what's going on. Just try and put things into perspective if you can. Because your life might be fucking great. It might be amazing. Maybe you just need to take some time away from it to realise that. To come back and fully understand that your life's pretty fucking good. Not perfect, but pretty good. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for checking in with me today. Let's check out. And I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.